大家好 ，Welcome to Everyday Chinese. 我是 Joyce 老师。During all these years, I've got one common question from my students. Do I need to learn Chinese characters? Or if I only learn Pinyin, can I live or work in China without any difficulties? Well, if you learn Chinese only for the purpose of traveling China, or simply want to impress your boss or clients, I think Pinyin is enough to help you to speak and understand Chinese people. But Pinyin itself is only a tool to help you pronounce Chinese characters.
In China, some of the store names on the streets, the menu in some small restaurants, packaging of food, and mobile applications to buy tickets and take away food are all written in Chinese characters without Pinyin.
If you plan to work or live in China, it will still be quite inconvenient if you don't know the Chinese characters. So learning to recognize and to write Chinese characters is very important. The truth is, you cannot advance your Chinese to a higher level without knowing the Chinese characters. Now, how do we start? Today, I will give you a clear introduction of Chinese characters and proven effective methods by my dear students to memorize Chinese characters.
If you want to learn Chinese characters systematically, you can visit courses.everydaychinese.com to check out our beginner courses. You will find the Chinese characters worksheets in each lesson. Chinese characters are called Hanzi. Here the word Han means a Han ethnic group. As you may know, in China, we have 56 ethnic groups, and the Han ethnic group accounts for almost 92% of the total population. The word 字 means character, so we call Chinese characters Hanzi.
The history of Hanzi dates back to 3,000 years ago, and our ancestors mainly followed 4 ways to create Hanzi. Understanding how this Hanzi came about can help us to learn and to remember them. Now let's take a look.
The first group of Hanzi are called pictograph characters, 象形字, which evolved from pictures of animals, natural objects, and phenomena. Here we have a few words for you. Can you guess their meanings from their shapes? It's totally okay if you can't. Now let's look at a few pictures. How about now? Can you match these images with the Hanzi on the right? In fact, the meanings of these Hanzi are hidden in their shapes. The second group is called self-explanatory characters, 指示字. 指示字 use abstract symbols or lines to express the things that are difficult to describe. Let's think of this line as the horizon. The upper part denotes something that is above the horizon. So the character 上 means on or above. Then it's very easy to guess that 下 means under or below. Associate compounds 会意字. 会意字 are combined with 2 or more than 2 characters to make a new word. For example, 修, this left part denotes a person, and the word 木 denotes a tree. If a person leans on a tree, it means to rest. So the word 修 means to rest. 从 consists of 2 people. If one person follows another, it becomes 从, which means to follow. Picture phonetic characters. 形声字. 形声字 consists of a meaning part, which shows the possible meaning a Hanzi might be related to, and a phonetic part, from which you can guess how to pronounce a Hanzi. For example, this character is made up of a meaning part, a standing person, which tells you this character has something to do with a person, and a phonetic part, which reads 半. So the character is read 半. Similar examples are these 4, which you haven't learned before, but I think you can guess their pronunciations. They are all read 半. Let's take a look at another one. The left part, which is a meaning part, is 女, which in Chinese means female. So you can guess this character has something to do with a woman. the red part, which is the phonetic part, decides how this word might be pronounced. The red part is read 马. Now the moment for the answer. This character is read 妈, which has a very similar pronunciation to 马. Although the phonetic part might not be completely same with the word's pronunciation, but it can give you enough reminder to guess the word's pronunciation. Similar examples are these four. The good news is more than 80% of commonly used Hanzi belong to this type, picture phonetic characters, 形声字, which means if you can remember some of the common meaning parts and phonetic parts, even though you don't know a character, you can guess its possible pronunciation and the meaning. Let's give it a try.
海涛，我这里有2个字，我们来考考你，知不知道它的读音？
好，
这个字你知道它读什么吗？
这个字我猜是读魁，是吗？
猜对了。
Yes.
OK， 告诉我们你是怎么知道它的读音的？你认识这个字吗？
其实我不认识这个字，但是对于我来讲，有一个猜字原则，就是去掉偏旁，读一边。所以我认识这一边读魁，它加上这个提手旁，它们的组合呢，我猜也是魁。虽然不总是正确，但是正确率还是比较高的。
OK， 猜对了。那我们还有另外一个字，这个字你认识吗？读什么？
其实这个字我也没见过，但是按照我的猜字原则，还是去掉偏旁，读一边。这一边呢，读加，再加上这个足字旁，我猜也是加。
猜对了。
Yes.
In fact, these two Chinese characters are rarely seen by Chinese people as well, but we can have a guess of their pronunciation simply by knowing what it's composed of. Now, after this introduction, what do you think? Hanzi are not as hard they look as long as you know these rules.
Although there are more than 80,000 Hanzi, but don't worry, there are only 3,500 common ones. And for you, as long as you know 1,000 of them, you can read and understand regular Chinese articles. First, to foster the awareness to learn Hanzi from the start.
Many of our learners rely too much on Pinyin without looking at Hanzi when they start to learn Chinese, which is incorrect. We should pay more attention to Hanzi. I believe a lot of you guys know these two Chinese characters, 你 and 我, even though you might not have intentionally learned to write them. This is because these two Chinese characters appear very often in textbooks. Just like in this video, we've used the word Hanzi for at least 20 times. Now you must know this word as it has been repeated enough times.
So when you memorize the vocabulary, study the Chinese characters, their pinyin, and their meanings altogether, even though you cannot remember them right away. And you can also use flashcards to help you remember Chinese characters. In our courses, we've inserted flashcards function to help you remember the vocabulary of the lesson.
你
Memorize Hanzi in the unit of words. Most Chinese words are composed of 2 or more than 2 Chinese characters. And even the same Chinese character can have a different meaning when used in a different word. Thus, we must remember the character in the context, like in a word or in a phrase, which is the most effective method. For example, for the Chinese character 上, common words that have 上 are 早上, 晚上, 上课, 上班. For the Chinese character 电, we often use it in 电脑, 电视, 电影, 电话, 电灯. For the Chinese character 天, we often see this word in 今天, 昨天, 明天, 天气, 天空. Make up a story for Hanzi. Some Hanzi may look alike one another and may confuse you. For example, 人, 大, 天. Try to use your wild imagination to make up a story for these characters to help you remember them, even though the story may sound awkward. Some example stories we have 人 a person is walking with hands in his or her pockets. 大 is like a person with open arms. 天 as 大 is like a person with open arms, but no matter how big the person is, the sky is still on top of him or her.
Now I am more confident to learn Hanzi. Don't question yourself or get frustrated why you cannot remember so many Hanzi in a very short period of time. Even for a Chinese person, we have to remember 3,000 Hanzi in 6 years of primary education, and we have to practice every day. Don't push yourself so hard, as it's a constant learning process. Alright, if you want to learn Chinese in a structured manner, please visit our website where we have courses for beginners and HSK exams. 谢谢你们的支持. I'm looking forward to your comment from different parts of the world. Don't forget to like us, share us, and subscribe to our channel. I will see you next time. 再见!